the area where people will never understand how in my different like vehicles, I do actually give a different side of myself. So, for example, on Twitter, obviously I'm raw as fuck, but spoiler, I'm not going to say anything rude about Overwatch or Blizzard because you work for them. Like, I want to ask you your thoughts now. I don't want to make it trouble for you. So what I would ask is this. It's going to be a very shrewdly phrased question though, which is obviously when Overwatch launched, and specifically the Overwatch League, and it was obviously billed as this giant thing that's going to be as big as sports, and like the projections were huge. There are a lot of people in the industry, even super like legit people, who were very critical of the Overwatch League and even the premise of Overwatch League and even this idea, can it be a big sports league? So what I would ask is this. Has it been awkward? Because I know, for example, I had this experience where like Monty, my friend, was like working on like the face of the broadcast, but at the same time I'm criticising the broadcast, the game, like whether it even should be a game all the time myself. That is a bit awkward because on the one hand, like I pull for him, and by the way, I actually like Overwatch the game. I wanted it to succeed. So has it been a bit weird in that regard that like a lot of people I'm sure you're friends with, in some ways it might seem like they're almost against like your job existing in a fucked up way?
Yeah, actually, it's weird. There's a lot of feelings about that. It's actually something like I talk frequently about with people like Mitch and whatnot, because we have such a wide and broad background in the industry where we've done so many different games, so we're familiar with so many different talents. So to see them shitting actively on the product we're working on and we're pouring our heart and soul into, kind of sucks. Like, and
I'm sure it feels sometimes like, you know, if they're ever bringing up like viewership or something, it almost seems like they're enjoying the fact that they think it's doing badly or something, like cheering it on.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the fine line. Like, I just make mental notes of who is criticizing it in a way of like, you know, like you said, like you want it to do good. Like, you're not hating it. Like you technically wish it well, but it's just not hitting the expectations, and that is completely fair. Like, it's not hit the expectations I had for it either, right? Like, there's so much I think we still to improve on, and which we are working on, but there's only so much you can do, you know, as an individual working on a broadcast. So a lot of it is out of our hand as well, and there's only so much we can do, and we are actively doing. So to see people like criticize it in like a constructive kind of manner, super fair, absolutely okay, totally down for that. But I think it's the gloating, like, haha, you failed, that kind of shit. That gets me, because funny enough, there's a lot of people which I feel were very interested in even being part of it early on, and then they weren't ending up being part of it. So now they
got sour grapes.
Yeah, so I feel like there's some of that with a few people, and it's just it's a bit unfortunate, because overall, I think if you're really just looking at what the Overwatch League could have been or is, this is something that if you like esports and you like gaming, you should want it to succeed. Like, I want League of Legends to succeed in their endeavors. I want to see Valorant succeed, because I think success in each and every single game, whether that be a competitor to my game directly or not, I think a rising tide lifts all the ships, right? Like, yes. It's good for us because it brings in more sponsors, it brings in more money, it brings in more people. In the end, everyone will benefit from it. So I see no reason to actively try to put something down. I think it's okay to criticize, and I think it's okay to like talk about it. But I don't think it's okay to like gloat about it and wish it going down. Like, I think that's why I take an issue with it. And yeah, it's definitely been a little awkward, because then you get together with those people and they're so nice to you, and I'm like, but also you want my livelihood to disappear, sure. And you're like, you're shitting on like something I work my ass off for. So that's not super nice.
Yeah, one thing you say there, actually, I can see why you make the connection with Mitch Uber, if people don't know, because since he also comes from a background of like Counter-Strike and a bunch of the ESL games, right? The perception from some of the industry people is sort of like, you're supposed to join in and be like, look, you guys don't really think Overwatch is for real. It's just some like fake game or something. There's almost that vibe, right?
Oh, we turned into the punching bag of the gaming world at the moment. We're just kind of waiting around until another game becomes the punching bag,
sure.
Because eventually that's going to happen. Like,
yes.
Eventually another publisher is going to F it up, and then we'll be the talk of town. Obviously didn't help what happened within Blizzard. Like that was rather Activision. Yes. Like that just really, really shot us in the foot there. And that's on no fault to the Overwatch League. I think we got hit by like a lot of really unfortunate things, which is all the lawsuits, which are obviously like super like that needs to be talked about, and you need to be critical about it, and you need to be vocal about it. Like that is serious business. And like none of us is saying like, like that should just disappear. Like it's not a big deal. Like no, it is a big deal, and that's totally fair. But that's not the fault of like Team 4. That's not those developers. It's not the fault of like people working on a daily at the Overwatch League. That is the fault of like something entirely different. And I think you have to like kind of set those apart. So for people being like, let's boycott the Blizzard games, it's like, but then you're actively hurting the people you're protecting. Like you're outraged because you want to protect them and you think they're being treated unfairly, but then you also kind of fuck them over in a way. So it's a difficult place to be in, because it kind of just makes like, the colleagues of the world untouchable, because you can't really do anything about it as an individual. And the boycott, while well-intentioned, and like the shitting on the game, while maybe well-intentioned, it's not actually achieving what you wanted to achieve, which puts us in a kind of a weird spot. And I don't know what the beginning of this rant was.
It's all good.
I don't know how
you made it. It was a well-said point. Okay,
there was a point there somewhere.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.